Good evening and welcome to FMA Discussion. This is episode 517, and tonight we will be having guest Rico Cortes on, and we will be discussing weapon grappling. If you're interested in his bio, this will be more just tapping into he's been doing it recent. I would refer you to episode 148 for that if you want to get his bio. So tonight, again, is going to be more weapon grappling centric in this program that he's developed. So if you're watching, tell us where you're watching from, smash that like button, and without further ado, here he is. Hey there, how are you?
Hey, how you doing, brother? Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. I just probably got a little confused in there, just trying to, give you a time but yeah, it's just been crazy over here too, and just haven't been doing it as many as of late. So figured sneak in tonight. So
Well, thanks for having me, man. I've been traveling a lot. As you know, I do the type of job that takes me everywhere. And in between that, I'm trying to mix in all the workouts and training. And when you get injured, as you know, we get a little older. I'm 59 now. So it's like
yeah, I just turned 60. So yeah,
it's a major accomplishment getting up and nothing hurting for about a minute, you know?
yeah, I know, yeah, absolutely. But so yeah, so obviously you had John before. I can't believe it's 4 years ago.
Time
But
flies, man. I
yeah,
had my right hip replacement ever since I talked to you.
yeah, I had my like 2012. I had my left done.
What
Yeah,
procedure did you have? Do you have the anterior or you had the posterior?
posterior.
Yeah, I have the anterior, which is they don't cut the muscle. Basically, what they do is,
Yeah, I tell you, I was 2 weeks.
yeah,
I was back to doing
it's
whatever.
amazing. Me too. I'm very active too. So
Yeah, yeah. Matter of fact, I wish I'd done it sooner. I prolonged it because I was under the impression that if you get it done, you got to go back in like 10 years or whatever. So I waited and waited. It got to the point where if I was sitting in a chair, I could not tie my shoe. The impingement, it was like a
yeah,
my x-ray looked like a Grand Canyon.
yeah. Well,
It just,
I know exactly what
it
when I
just,
play. I don't know if you knew. I don't know if you knew, but I played professional baseball before when
yeah,
I was younger, and I used to. I was known at first base for doing my splits, so I could do splits, and therefore I could do. I could stretch and for my size. So
yeah,
I made it up to double A. Well, not thinking that all of that flexibility that was abusing my hips. And
yeah.
so
Well, I think, yeah, totally. My first thing was Taekwondo. So I'm sure that had something to do with it
of
along,
course,
but yeah, I got it done. And I think they made me leave with a cane. I think the cane got thrown out of the door after I got home, and 2 weeks, man, I was doing whatever.
that's
So
amazing. The technology right now is incredible.
yeah, they got the hips down like to a science. Yeah,
Yeah.
so if they can get the neck and the back shoulder to that, then
You
we'll
know,
make.
when I'm doing jujitsu, it's like I move, and then some of the people they ask what age, how old I am, and then I tell them, and they go, "Man, you move okay for your age. Obviously, I'm older, so I can't move as a 20-year-old the way I used to be." And I tell them, "Yeah, I got double hip replacements," and they're blown away by how
Yeah,
the body responds is as even very much normal like anybody else, except to one position that I have to be very careful because if they do it too abruptly, it can cause a what do you call it? This dislocation. We can have that.
I find guard like I don't do a lot of guard play just because it's just getting the legs are getting manipulated, your legs are getting
Yeah.
pushed down. That's what aggravates anything with me the most. So I just avoid. I do for maintenance, but
Right.
it just
Well, that's
you know,
because you have the posterior method. That's what happens. I have the anterior,
yeah,
so they didn't cut the muscle at all. And I found out the reason why it's better is because they don't cut the muscle. So it's not how do you call it? In those positions in jiu-jitsu like the guard, and it would be most acceptable if you have the posterior,
yeah.
so
It's yeah. So I just don't. I just do rain, but I just don't do it a lot, just not to aggravate it. And yeah, you just got to work around it, right?
that's true, man.
You got to keep moving, right?
That's basically what I'm trying to do. The whole idea is clearly I'm not going to be a jiu-jitsu world champion. I got double hip replacements,
Yeah,
and I'm not going to get into the competitive arena because you can't go in there and say, "Hey guys, be a little easy on your throws. I have the it's not how it works.
Yeah, yeah. Be a little bit on your manipulation. You
Yeah,
know, yeah, yeah.
I
It's not going
mean,
to happen. Yeah.
I'm not letting them throw me with the epons and stuff. I mean, in class we go through them. In class we get thrown, but you tell the guys and they work with you. I
Oh,
like
yeah, yeah. No, if you got good training partners and they know, and you've had them for years, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
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 I like catch wrestling because it's a lot. All the throws a little bit more for me, more rolling back,
yeah,
forward, and so it gels better with me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The judo ones, man, I just don't want anything to do with them. I just don't. I don't. I'm done slapping out.
Man,
I'm just like the judo throws. Like the wrestling ones are fine, sprawl, get spear in there, but the judo throws, man, I just
man,
don't.
I when I was coming up in Aiki Jiu Jitsu, right? I was doing Aiki Jiu Jitsu, and I'm actually a Shihan in Aiki Jiu Jitsu. But I started with an instructor we were doing all the flying throws, and
Mm,
I mean I was even doing ukamiwaza and the hardwood and the cement when I was, and the guy was now teaching me how to fall correctly. So between all the hips stuff that I did plus all the falling, and you're so young and so stupid, sometimes you follow teachers blindly and they don't teach you anything, and then you get hurt.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. Then you get in. Yeah, no, I'm done. No, 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 no. Done with those days, man. ACLs, hip. No, 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 no. I just no.
How you're 60 now, so
Yeah, yeah.
maintenance.
That's what it is. You hit it nail on the head. Like I'm not trying to like. I do try to get. I try to get fast. I try to get better at everything through activity development, band work, in the weight room. I mean, anything I can to facilitate that. But really, what it comes down to is maintenance. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
pretty much.
maintaining. Yeah.
You, you know what helps me a lot that I'm a firm believer in that. I do it a lot is mobility drills.
Yeah.
There's so many movements I could not do because, as you know, with bad hip, we can't even tie our shoes. I mean, I can't
Yeah.
even do
I
anything.
couldn't.
Now I'm actually a lot more flexible. Bearing bolos, I'm not even wasting my time with that. I mean, there's,
Mm,
there's just no way. But with the mobility drills on the bag, and sometimes I post on Instagram, to me, it's helped me tremendously because I'm able to at least work on my own pace, and I could go faster, but I'm learning when to go fast or not to go fast. It's great to know your limitations. And if you don't do those drills, sometimes when you roll, you go faster pace than you're supposed to. By the third minute, you can't do anything.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. You got to pay. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so every day I'm doing something, whether it's stuff here, kettlebells, or whether I go to the gym. But yeah, always, and again, it's just yeah, maintaining. you know,
I hear you. I hear you.
you know. So we're all right. So let's get. So obviously we had John before. So what was the inspiration for you to check in and look at or go deeper into weapons grappling?
Well, I mean, as you know, I've been training with Grandmaster Felix Cortes from Filipino Combatives Global. I used to be with FCS Cali. I used to be with Radio Naldo a long time
That's
ago,
when
as you
we
know.
first met at Sama
Yeah,
Sama.
at the Sama Sama. I was for
Yeah.
a short time. I was 2 years. I think I was a member of SIOC. 2 or 1 year. I don't remember. And the Filipino martial arts, they have Buno and they have Dumag, and it's a very good art for weapons based type of grappling. And then you have Silat,
Mm,
and they taught me a um, basic Buno or Dumag, and I liked it. And because I did Aikido Jiu-Jitsu, we were throwing people go to the ground, do the lock, and then get back up and start from scratch. Not really rolling the way we do now in catch wrestling and Jiu-Jitsu. So sometimes when you do the techniques and you develop and you don't roll with it, you don't learn control, pressure, manipulation, mobility,
mm,
all that stuff. So when I started doing MMA, I started training MMA because I was 265 pounds because my hips were so jacked up. And
mm,
I found this guy and I say, yo, man, I want to learn. He's a professional MMA guy here in Winter Haven, and he retired. And I started training with him, and I was going to the MMA classes with the young kids, starting from scratch, man. So embarrassing. I was getting my butt whooped. But I just wanted to go back and spar and learn, get hit, learn basic principles of grappling and stuff like that. He was calling it grappling, the whole thing. And he noticed I was picking up okay, but I was limited with my mobility. I didn't have any of my hip replacements. I did that for 4 years, and I was still training like that. And he worked with my limitations, and I noticed that when we were doing the grappling back then, the grips, in my mind, I'm thinking, hey, I could cut you. I'm thinking I could cut you. But
Yeah,
I
they
was
convert
basically
position.
focusing only on, let me tell you what really woke me up. The first day I went to him, okay, I never told him what I did. I just went and I found him. A nice guy. He was like 6'3", 250. I mean, diesel, very talented dude. And I just say, man, I'm just here to learn. And I was recently at that time, I lost like 60 pounds. So I went from 260 to like 200 in like 4 months. Not healthy, but I started training again. And I felt encouraged. I'm thinking, let me start training. So I told the dude, I said, look, man, I want to learn this and I want to learn from scratch. Please teach me. Oh, you got experience martial arts? Yeah, but I'm not here for that. But I didn't tell him what I did.
Mm.
But I think he was trying to prove a point because he knew that I was a martial artist. And we just did a round of pummeling,
Yeah.
just one round of pummeling. And he started pummeling, putting pressure, teaching me how to do it. And we did one round. That guy, he threw me around. He moved me like a rag dog. And I'm telling you, within the first 40 seconds, if he wanted, he could have killed me
Mm.
because I didn't even last a minute. After that, I was so tired. Weight distribution, pushing me around,
Yeah.
moving me, throwing me. And I'm going like, oh my. And I went in, I remember when my wife picked me up because I went through the whole, private class after that. When I got in the car, I was in the back seat. I told my wife, I said, what's really amazing? If this guy if he wanted to kill me, he could have killed me after 40 seconds. And that right there completely turned my whole life. Because although I was already, as you know, ranking pretty high in the system of martial arts, Aikido Jiu Jitsu and all the systems, but my stamina was not there. My knowledge of grappling at close range, I didn't work long enough on it to be very good. So that even with all my experience, I don't think I would have been able to reach my weapon if I could have. And that's what happened. And then I told him, I said, look, man, I came back the next day and I said, well, clearly you kicked my behind and I would have died the first 40 seconds if you wanted to, because I didn't know what to do. Will you teach me? And that's the process. I spent 3 years doing privates with him 3 times a week. He gave me a great price. It's ridiculous. $25 an hour back then. It's crazy. So I said, okay, I'm going to meet up with you. Used to get up about 5 in the morning, go to the class at 7:30, and then I will do privates with him because I wanted to learn. Then he asked me one day, so what do you do? And I told him, well, I do knife. Oh, really? Show me. After I spent
Yeah.
about 3 months with him, I started doing knife. Then he said, uh, you would have killed me if you wanted to. And I said, well, yes, but remember that if I did not know what to do now, at least have a better idea, I wouldn't have survived somebody at your level of training. And that's what really prompted me to start training, not to deal with a guy who doesn't know anything. It's equally as dangerous, but a trained fighter is a different ball game.
Yeah. Clinch, man. Like
Yeah,
people have clinch, especially in weapon. Yeah. Like
it's a different game.
it's gonna be really hard to tread those waters, man.
When I went to my after I got my left hip replacement, I went to the class and there was 3 new guys. They were young, 21, 22. They were doing sparring and then they were doing the grappling and they're throwing each other. And one guy picked them up, threw on the ground. I told my teacher, I said, look, man, I'm already 50 years old. I'm 49 years old at the time. And 50, I'm sorry. And I said, dude, I can't do this. I just got operated on. I said, look, I'm going to go train something else because I want to maintenance. I'm not trying to,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. So he goes, sure, man. So I went to jujitsu class. I went to a no-gi class and I didn't like gi at all. I'm learning to like it. I got to be honest with you. I went to the no-gi class and this sport, jujitsu. And it was a bit frustrating because, as you know, we come from a different background.
Right.
To us, it's survival. I don't care about rules. And that's the biggest problem for me. And I started noticing their grips, just basic gripping, hand gripping, and I'm thinking, okay, if you grab me there, I could do this and I could do that. But you don't learn their system if you're doing that all the time.
Yeah.
So, but it really helped me. I will come home and my son on the videos, I don't know if you've seen them. My son has been training with me since he was 8. And he's a purple belt now in jiu-jitsu. And I will come home. I said, dude, come over here, grab me like this and do this and do that and do that. So when I talked to Grandmaster Felix, he was doing Filipino combatives global, and I said, there's a niche that we can. If Filipino martial arts is advanced in that we can adapt with anybody. That's the
Mm.
way we've been trained. But sometimes Filipino martial artists feel that that's the only thing you need. Now, mind you, remember I told you about the early 2000.
Oh yeah,
Remember the early 2000 that you have people
yeah.
doing the Dumog and doing Filipino type grappling. That there is such a thing. I mean, Professor Baed over here in East Florida, he's really good at that. But then you notice that back then, not many people doing jujitsu. I mean, back in the late 1900s, 1999, 2000, you're not going to see black belts walking around in schools.
Yeah, now it's
Now it's common. Okay, but back then, so we could get away with stuff not being sharp and not being consistent with the technique because not many people in the population have the experience.
mm.
But now there are many guys grappling. I mean, you go to YouTube, you can literally.
Oh, it's commonplace. Yeah,
I
for sure.
mean, right now you can have a kid who has training partners, and he can train for weeks watching YouTube videos and going
I
instructions of
know.
BJJ fanatics.
And get pretty decent. I mean, with all the volume that's out there that anybody can be exposed to, right? I mean, so
Well, it happened to me. I was going to this jiu-jitsu class, and the professor put me with a brand new guy. So I said, "Well, how long you been training?" "Oh, 2 weeks." "Okay, great." So I'm thinking, well, let me go slow. He's a brand new dude. He just came in 2 weeks. Well, sometimes when you when you're working with people who's starting out, you give them a window because you want them to work. I'm trying to be a jerk. You
mm.
know. Well, I let my arm expose. The guy went into a armbar. He got me with an armbar, and I looked up and said, "Dude, that was awesome. How do you do that?" He goes, "Well, I train in my garage with my friend, training partner. We do videos on YouTube for the last 2 years. He ain't no white belt.
Jeez.
He's no white belt." And it's
Isn't
like, now think about what I just said. You go on the street and you assume that you're training better than somebody else, and you don't know they've been training all this stuff.
I
Oh
know.
my
And all of a
lord!
sudden they've been like, yeah, I know that's like the, I guess the curse. Like it's great that you can access this information on there, but I think depending on the module, the art, I think there's some things that just shouldn't be put on there. But much to your point, grappling, man,
Yeah,
there's everything on YouTube, man.
everything.
So
It's
yeah,
true. I
you
mean,
know,
I do want to say that I don't think any of us would be where we're at if it wasn't for people like uh, Guru Dan. I mean, talk about a
yeah. I
trailblazer.
look at dude, I look at Burton, like the offshoot of Rude Dan. Like
Well, he's amazing, by the way.
to me,
Master Burton,
Burton
he's really
is
good.
yeah, to me
Been
Burton
following
is
him around for
such
years.
a trendsetter in like a lot of areas, and just the way he carries himself.
I
Yeah,
love to meet him someday. I've been
yeah,
following him
they
for
don't get much better
years.
than him.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm so fortunate to be under him, and
That's cool.
I just think he's one of the gems out there. Yeah, for sure. But much to your point, I didn't like Gi either because like I wanted like yeah, so I like all my grappling was non Gi. So
Yeah.
if I went to a Gi class, man, I would get destroyed.
Well, I mean, it's like I tell people. For example, I've been asking. I asked um, some good instructors, and again, don't get me wrong. I think jiu-jitsu is great if you understand its place. I mean, it's like anything.
Yeah, right,
The
right.
whole video that I did for BJJ Fanatics, it's a fundamentals thing for a grappler who does sport, trying to show him how some of the things that he already does,
Yeah,
if he practice, he can at least survive with a weapon environment. That's all it is,
yeah.
you know.
Some of that
But
basic stuff is all you need, though. Like without getting overcomplicated and a
yeah,
bunch of chains that are just, So,
but
um,
I would ask instructors, for example, the biggest problems in jujitsu for beginners, even for myself. I'm a brown belt now, and I'm still struggling with it. Is understanding gripping, all the grips. But then a judo guy comes into class. He's a white belt, which I don't understand why that is. I mean, why would a black belt in judo be a white belt in jujitsu? When I mean, I don't know. Anyway, that's another conversation. But
it's separate though. My son is going for his blue in BJJ, but he's a different rank in judo. It's just
And the gripping is there, and they teach you gripping from the beginning. And I noticed when I was rolling with higher ranks, they were beating me with grip, especially the little guys. Little guys, they grip you the right way, and they have the proper transitions. They
mm,
develop their game based on their grips. And I'm going like, what? How come? Why can't you teach me that at white belt? As you know, when we do blade stuff, we teach fundamentals of flowing, sensitivity, energy, and how to do things. And it's like all the drills are developed to develop skill and sensitivity and fluidity. Uh, so I'm not understanding why they're waiting for the person to gain their own experience through all the failure, when if we have this grip can do certain techniques, if he breaks that grip, I have a transition, a hierarchy of grips that will change obviously according to the environment, the position. But I
Mm.
mean, it's only logical to me. So that's my journey right now, understanding gripping. But I'd rather do the nogi.
Yeah, I'm a no argument here. All my training, is in grappling. I just never saw it ranked, but doing it for like 20 years, I just wasn't interested in rank because I wasn't gonna do the gi. You know what I mean? So and but yeah. So then when you look at your program, I get it's in the deduction. I get you're trying to get the FMA community to look at BJJ, the BJJ community to look at FMA, and hopefully, there could just be this wonderful merge and cross training and supplemental from each side, the best of both worlds, so to speak.
Well, that's really the whole motivation.
Yeah,
The problem is, how do we get an established MMA Filipino martial artist, FMA player, who's willing to go through the struggles of learning this brand new this art over here that's a little foreign to us. I mean, we don't want to be on bottom, and we surely don't want to be on the ground. We want to be on top because we have a weapon. But
right.
my thesis is, what if you're on the ground and you're not equipped to move properly,
Mm.
to survive with pressure? And now, like for example, I didn't realize I was claustrophobic in all these years. I
Until
never
somebody's
knew.
on top of you.
I'm telling you. I mean, like 8 years ago, I was getting anxious, and I'm going like, "What's
Oh my
going
God, your
on with me?"
diaphragm's getting crushed and somebody's on top and you can't move. Are you
Yeah,
kidding me, man? Yeah, that's
but
brutal.
I didn't know I was claustrophobic. Can you imagine that? I'm glad I found out as we're doing exercises and training. Can you
Yeah.
imagine if I'm fighting with a dude who's 300 pounds trained in the street?
Yeah. It's good
I
to hear.
mean, that right there scared me. So I'm thinking, what do I need to do to
Yeah.
learn? But the problem is this: that I want to be a bridge, but I know it's a niche. Not everybody's going to go for it. But I think the BJJ world will be able to benefit greatly
For sure.
because of their instincts. Their instincts, they don't have any instincts towards weapons. And with all due respect to the Gracie family, I think they've done an incredible job providing value to the grappling world. But their self-defense weapons base is very, very outdated.
Yeah, no, I've seen it. I think you're being kind. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
appreciate that. It is
Well, we
very.
want to be respectful. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I
yeah.
mean,
No, no, you are. It's funny you mentioned that. The people that I had easily killed on the ground with weapons was pure BJJ guys.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why, for me, catch wrestling fits better in
Mm,
the weapons based environment because, first of all, it's based on pain, ripping, on heavy pressure, a lot of mobility, controlling the skeletal structure,
yeah.
and just causing neck crank alone, and all that stuff. And for me, I'm trying to be a bridge. Listen, I understand that Filipino martial artists are going to look at it like, oh, I don't want to go to the ground. Well, that's not the point. What if you do?
Yeah. Well, you might have a choice. How
You
about
may
that?
not have a
Yeah,
choice.
you got
You
taken
know,
down. I
right?
mean,
I mean, it's like for me, I have one good double leg takedown. I know
yeah,
my weakness is. I got one good, the low one good one.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
What if I don't get that? I need to learn different variations of a single leg, of a double leg, but without going down my knees on the ground. I mean, I got to learn my limitations, but I could survive now. I feel like I have a better chance of survival instead of saying I'm going to win. It's not even about winning anymore. It's about survival. So the video is designed on BJ Fanatics. I hope you guys can consider looking into it. Is to give
I'll
you,
post. I'll if you send me, I get posted in the comments as well.
yeah, I put the link there,
Yeah,
and I think Master Burton,
yeah.
he has a video on BJJ Fanatics for self defense. I think
He's got I'm pretty familiar with all his programs. He's got BJJ for the street. He's got the
right, that
night
one.
program. Oh, yeah, yeah. Which is
Yeah, so I
heavily
think
weapon. Yeah,
I think it's influencing with FMA. I think he is the only other person in the whole BJJ that I know of who does it.
No, yeah. Again, when I mentioned him being a trendsetter,
Yeah.
in my opinion, he was one of the first to kind of look at that arena, and yeah, he's yeah, for sure on all the above.
Well, I think that, to be honest with you, the whole idea, this is what I know. I know that now in my life at this age, to have an experience in an area that I started late in my life. And I'll tell you a story about jujitsu. It's going to be a trip. Um, but to know now that I have an opportunity, I roll every day except for Friday nights and Saturdays. Okay.
You're rolling every day, and you're recuperating okay. You're recovering okay.
Yeah, I'm actually doing good because I'm
Wow.
doing pretty good. I only, like, for example, I only take, if I'm home, I
Yeah.
go Sunday and there's an open mat they have here in Orlando. It's all young kids. I mean, these guys are amazing, and I'm the oldest dude in the bunch. It's great. And they're actually, they don't look at me any different. They just want to
Yeah.
choke
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
out. It's no big deal.
Right.
And I learn a lot. I
Yeah.
learn sometimes that I don't do well in certain types of bodies or certain types of things. They're doing sport, by the way. So
Okay.
and we are trying to be a good training partner. So no neck cranks, no cross faces, and
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and but I learned the experience is awesome to be in an environment in which I'm the oldest guy and I'm able to at least hang in there with them. I don't
No,
have to
that's
do every
awesome.
round. I do 2 rounds, rest one. I do another one, rest one.
Yeah.
And what I learned is earning people's respect by putting in the work is key.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
They
earn
see
it.
you putting work in. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it,
Absolutely.
man.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
mean, for me to
I just
go
posted
and
your link in. I just posted your link on
yeah,
the.
thank you. For me to go in and at least be at a disadvantage according to what the perception is.
Mm,
And then when somebody they see you roll and that you handle yourself okay, not like a 20-year-old, but you handle yourself okay.
yeah. Yeah.
And you gain their respect, not because you're better than them, but
Right.
because
You're there putting the work. Yeah.
exactly. And you know what's really interesting? The other day, a young guy, he's like 23 years old, tall, lanky. So I was working um, on the grappling and just controlling between the knees and the hip, just to try to cross their legs, and I actually worked pretty decent against him. And afterwards, he actually gave me an amazing compliment that I was never expecting because he's seen videos of what I do other than just jujitsu, which I never talk about when I'm in class. And he goes, you know what? I would not want to be in a fight with you on the street. And I thought that was the most amazing compliment coming from a young guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's about how can we earn the respect to cross train and not the ego be affected by learning something that you don't do well. It's okay to learn it and not be perfect at it.
It's being a good student. The problem is with a lot of these guys, every regard, and I'm not just picking on FMA. I mean, it's across the board. Is some did they reach a plateau and they just they don't feel they need to go learn, or they don't want to be exposed, through failure or starting all over. So I think that's a big chunk of it because in there, unfortunately. Whereas me, like I always put myself on the bottom rung. I'm like, nope, I gotta keep going. I gotta keep going. So I never ever get complacent. Like, oh yeah, man, I'm here. I don't need to do anything else. Like, no,
Right.
and I think that's just. I think it's a mindset.
Well, I mean, remember, I was an athlete my whole life. I was a baseball player since
Mm,
the age of 3, and I stopped playing when I was 28. And so I've always been around athletics.
mm,
And if you see behind me, all those books are not for decorations. What I do for a living, I have to be put myself as a student mode every day.
yeah,
In my work, in my area of work, I have teachers. So I'm
right.
always learning, I'm researching, I'm looking. So why not carry that over to the FMA environment, or the jiu-jitsu world? And I gotta tell you, for me, what's made the difference has been catch wrestling. If you really want to look for grappling art that is going to complement perfectly for
Yeah,
your weapons approach, catch wrestling is amazing. I'm telling you, it's been a game changer for me.
yeah. I hear nothing. No, I've heard. Yeah, I've heard. Like I take like my influence has been training partners have been training for 20 years and just getting in the science lab. Burton, so there. But no, I've heard nothing but great things about catch. Yeah,
Well, in the Inosanto Academy was a shooter. Remember?
the shoot up way back. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, talk about revolutionary back in the day.
yeah, way back. Right.
And John Potenza, right?
I know the name. Yeah,
Yeah, John Potenza was a student of Eric Paulson.
Yeah.
which I think Master Eric Paulson, in my opinion, is talk about a talented guy
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
from many different levels of arts and stuff. And John Potenza was a student of Eric Paulson for many years,
Yeah.
and also he was a direct student of Billy Robinson, old school type catch wrestling. And for me, catch wrestling have been good. It's a little rough, um, but I think when you learn to deal with the pain and moving, and you understand that you want to have top position and control and pressure,
Mm.
um, it's amazing what it does when I work with my guys. When you get into a position and you apply pressure on a particular place, or you're ripping. Ripping is rubbing induced pain.
Yeah.
In Kali, we do all the time. We just never call it that.
Yeah. The whole pain distraction, to access leverage or better positioning, right? I mean, yeah. I mean, there's
Yeah. So
something
from
good to that.
so that inspiration for me, Dean, came out of going to jujitsu and noticing their grips. And then one day, that was when I started. One day, I took the teacher saw me and I was doing something. He goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, "Well, I noticed your grips. You're susceptible to a cut." He goes, "Well, what do you mean?" So then he gripped me. He's very good, black belt. I mean, he's very good, and I cut him. And he looked at me, and goes, "Oh, I never thought about that." So, and I said, "Well, that's because we do weapons based training."
Mm.
And so out of there began the development. So what I did, I waited. I told my son, and I said, and that was my long term goal,
Yeah.
is that I want to learn grappling, and I'm going to put myself through the ringer learning. And then when I get to a particular rank, because I want to also show I want the grappler, if they see me do something, understanding my age and what I could do, but if they see me do something, they'll recognize that I trained.
Right.
I don't want them saying, "Another Filipino dude trying to do
Yeah.
grappling."
Right. Right. Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
You
And
have to surrender to the art. You know what I mean? Like if you're doing the art, just freaking surrender and just, you know
right.
what I mean?
But
Blend later. You know what I mean?
why do you think the FMA world has such a tough time? For example, I thought,
I could tell you. I mean, just from FMA discussion for 6 years,
yeah,
but
go
you go
ahead.
ahead.
But I thought, that they would gravitate to something that could bridge a gap. I mean, can you imagine
Yeah.
if less than 1% of the world population they do BJJ?
Right.
Less, not even half of a
Well,
percent.
1%. They say 1 to 2% does martial arts overall of the population, right? So add that 1 to 2%. How many in it? BJJ's got to be freaking up there.
Right.
Um, like add that. Like, what's the percentage of people doing FMA?
But do you think there's like 10 million people worldwide doing BJJ? I don't think
Oh,
so.
10 million?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Huh. If
But
I
think
had to
about
guess,
that.
I would say probably not. I don't know.
Right. So
Yeah.
look at, I mean, we're comparing ourselves with guys who equally train with us
Yeah.
and under certain rules set.
Right. 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 Right.
So, I mean, so for me to consider that when I walk in somewhere, I'm not looking for any trouble, God forbid, but that I'm able to at least handle myself in different environments,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
at least do myself a favor to learn something. And FMA people that don't want to try the grappling, and the BJJ guys do not want to. Can you imagine what would happen if we managed to bridge the gap?
I know. I know.
And
I
I
know.
submit to you the problem, and that's something that I had to adjust to.
Yeah.
So when people come to me and say, "I want to learn from you," I ask two questions. Do you want to learn the classical Kali, or you want to learn more like adapting the Kali to the grappling? Because I
Okay.
could do that. I could just teach you a curriculum that I have that
Right.
is geared around the grappling with all Filipino martial arts principles.
Yeah.
That's it. So that way I know that you may be looking for that to bridge the gap to what you already know. So,
Yeah. So your offering right from the get go is there. That's well. There you go. You kind of hit the nail on the head. I mean, partially. I don't think well, obviously, majority of FMA guys are not doing that because they only have grappling to begin with, so they can't even make
exactly.
that. They can't make that offering, right?
So
You know.
it's true. But if we teach them the basics
Sure.
and I
Sure.
teach you how to deal with a stick in a certain position, a grappler is not thinking weapons and a weapon is not thinking grappling. So what I want to do, at least for me, and hopefully it'll catch on, is why don't we influence the amazing principles we've learned within the grappling area that they're unaware of, because there's a false of security on both sides.
I
An
think that's
FMA guy thinks that he can be perfectly safe in every environment, and it's proven that if you find a good MMA dude in the street and you don't have time to pull out your weapon, you're in trouble.
yeah, 100. No argument. 100, man. They have boxing, they got clinch, they got takedowns, they got ground. I mean, yeah. So, yeah, I think it's everything what you're mentioning. I think that's all fair and legitimate.
Yeah,
And I think it just goes back to, in other words, if you're teaching FMA and you're reluctant because you're in your wheelhouse, there's a comfort zone, right? And you've yielded success, accolades, and awards, and whatever. I mean, whatever is coming down the pipeline that you can put on your wall, etc. Right?
yeah.
You're going to be so reluctant to go into an arena where, in the beginning, you're going to get freaking killed. You're just going to get trounced. And
It
some
doesn't feel
people,
good. It
man,
doesn't
they
feel
just,
good at all.
yeah, that's what I mean. But some can be like, hey man, I don't care. I'm like, I don't care. I'm a student at heart, man. Like I've gone into arenas and not done well. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but kept an open mind and just kept progressing and knowing that there would be gradual success through the
Right.
failures. Not everybody has that mindset,
That's
you
true.
know, you
Look,
know.
for me right now, I know that when I get my black belt someday, that's my long term goal. It's interesting because when I started doing this, my whole idea was to get to purple because I just got a hip replace.
Yeah,
And you
like
know who was my inspiration? Well,
right?
you know who was my inspiration was Guru Dan. I remember I was watching some of the old Dog Brothers videos, and Mark Denny, he was doing an interview, and he was talking about when he picked up uh, Guru Dan at his house. He was 50 years old,
Yeah,
and they took him to go see the Machado brothers,
right.
and then he couldn't even do a shrimp because he said his back was messed up. I never forget that.
Yeah,
And then one of the Machado brothers, I can't remember which one it was, said to him, "I'll adapt jujitsu for
yeah.
you."
Mark just told that story. I had Mark on. He just told that story.
I'm
Yeah,
telling you, that was pivotal for me because I was hesitant about trying it because I figured, I'm older, I don't move very well, my hips are jacked up. But if Guru Dan can do it at 50 after all the stuff he's accomplishing, why am I not doing it?
yeah.
I haven't done anything yet,
Was my excuse. I know if you look at it, like he is like, I mean, it goes without saying, like he is the ultimate student. I mean, look at everything that he's tried and done. And Burton, in my opinion, emulates that. Obviously,
Right.
not to the degree that the stuff that Dan's explored and done. You know what I mean? But
Uh-huh.
but Burton, Zulu, I mean, everything, right? Or almost everything. But I think like but you look look at a lot of folks that are under Dan, despite the generations, they're not all doing what Dan's done.
That's true.
They're
Uh,
not.
that is very true. But by the way, nothing is really new anyway. What Guru Dan has done is what the Filipinos always did: is trying to mix everything and survive.
Yeah.
By the way, here I see someone in the audience. I'm very honored that he even came in. I'm sure he didn't come for me because he doesn't know me. He
Who's
came
that?
for you. Is Master Kelly Warden.
Oh, Datu Kelly.
Man,
Oh,
I tell you, I've
oh,
been following that gentleman for a long time,
right.
and
I
I
love
remember and I'm honored that he even came to the program. I mean, just to
Datu is.
listen.
I love Datu Kelly.
I
Yeah.
mean, his stuff is really amazing, and I never thank him publicly, but because I never met him.
Yeah.
But some of the when I started, I looked for anything I could, and I found a lot of his stuff, and it was very
His
helpful
blending of
understanding the
art,
concepts. Yeah.
his fusion of arts, like when he's just doing and he's just going through art, is just like amazing.
Well, that's really the influence. Think about it. I'm thinking about Guru Dan. That's what he did. And then when I got together with Leonardo, right, he was basically the same. He was using, we had the regular FCS curriculum and they had subsystems. And he took a lot of the subsystems and applied it within one particular flow. I don't know if he's still doing that because I haven't been part of the organization for a while. But then I met Grandmaster Felix Cortes, which, by the way, took me to a different mindset. I
Yeah.
think right now where I'm at today is because of the influence that and you know who he is. He was one of the original Tuhans from, Sayo Kali.
Or
And
Sac. Yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, he took me to a different level altogether in thinking combat. And he did a fight in the woods, stick fight. And I
So
remember watching that in 2010. I think you saw that
yeah, it was with oh my
with,
god,
Tom,
Tom
Tom.
Tom Kyer. Yes, yes.
And I remember watching that fight and I'm going like, that's what I want to do. But, I'm too old for it. So what am I going to
Yeah, that was
But
pretty
but I
pretty.
was able to see without equipment, which is to me is crazy.
Yeah.
But when I began to talk to him about angles and footwork and range and all the stuff, he taught me. I'm going, okay, I understand. And by the way, that's what triggered for me to learn this range of clinching.
Yeah.
Because if I don't move, I don't create angles, I don't create space. I can never deploy. I can never get away. I can never avoid getting hurt for somebody who is
Mm.
better than I am.
I think it's great. No, no, no. I think. I mean, here's the thing. At least you're trying. At least you're trying to create a bridge, right?
Well, either we are going to be on both our sides and not really make a difference, or maybe we could try to bridge a gap. And like I tell people, if you watch the video for the weapons-based grappling fundamentals, that's really what it is. It's a fundamentals based on basic things, utilizing concepts and principles a grappler will do.
Mm.
And what I was trying to do is like, how can I get a grappler who's not thinking as a catch wrestler? Because a catch, he wants to destroy in any position. That's really what we want to do with weapon anyway. Okay. We want to destroy everything in every range and every position. Well, but the sport minded grappler, they're thinking about a position without using certain principles that we use in Filipino martial arts. And
Mm.
I said, man, this concept fits perfectly right here. This one fits perfectly right here. The stick switches come in place over here. You can do a throw that they do in grappling from with a stick over here. So all we do is it's an experiment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
This I'm sure someone who's better a wrestler or a grappler than me and learns really good quality instruction from an FMA person could probably take it farther. And that's the whole idea. How
yeah.
can we get them to think outside the box and not go boot scooting when you get into a fight? Because that's not going to work in the street.
No, I think it's great. I mean, yeah, I think no, I think it's refreshing, and again, you're trying to bridge two communities, and hopefully, you'll get folks on both sides that will look at it. You know what
I,
I mean?
I just need what I need is for you guys to consider helping promote it. I'm not saying you have to like it, but if we can hopefully get the grappling world to look at what we're doing. I
Yeah,
mean, right now the whole demographic is moving towards jujitsu. No one can fight it,
particularly sport,
huh?
particularly sport.
And that concerning to me because the false of security thinking that a sport mindset with a weapons based
Yeah,
person.
uh,
The other day I was not rolling. I was actually went to a school to visit. And the instructor was very young guys, 27-year-old black belts. He's been training since he was 8,
yeah, right.
and we were training, and he goes, "Hey, I saw a video that you did on Instagram. Can you show me what you do with a knife?" And then we had amazing. I was honored because I only went there to like learn from them. I could care less,
Yeah,
about sharing anything, but they were so open, and then I showed them with a knife the same positions we'll do with just grappling, and the whole focus was always on the you know knife fixation. They're looking at my hand, and I'm
yeah,
doing all this stuff over here, and the guy's like really committed. It's a black belt, but he's committed to a threat he's never seen.
right. Or that, right. Yeah, yeah. No, it's funny you mention that because my son's teacher, I went down there just to bounce some ideas off. So I did a couple classes. I mean, he's no, it's pure sport,
Yeah,
gi, the whole thing. And some of the stuff that like he suggested, it was just going to get you killed because he was coming from like he was definitely trying to be helpful, great guy. I mean, great personality, but he was coming from the premise of like the pure position, submission, like moving the arm. It just, yeah. So,
yeah. Well, I think let me put it to you this way: I found that to be true everywhere I've been, and I have a type of job that I travel all over the world. I basically train in Australia, New Zealand, Chile. I'm going there next week. I go to Israel all the time. I've literally been everywhere, Europe, and I train. I take my gear and I train everywhere I go. I meet new people. I learn a lot of stuff. I learn what to do, what not to do. And I see the same thing. The sense, the
yeah,
same sense of security Filipino martial artists have,
right.
thinking because they carry a knife. They know they think they can deploy it with proper timing, angles, and speed without really practicing that type of stress
Under
situation.
pressure, drawing under pressure, like
Right.
right, you know what I mean? Like there's an activity, drawing under pressure, right?
Well, I mean, like I said earlier, I was claustrophobic, and I did not know. It wasn't until I put myself in that environment. And I
Mm.
remember how it happened. I was in Puerto Rico, right? And I thought I was like anxious. I was rolling with a guy who was like a little bigger than me, a lot bigger than me. And I was a white belt back then, you know. And that night, I couldn't do anything against him. And that night, I couldn't sleep. So I'm the type of person that when I don't do something
Yeah,
well, I go back
manifest.
and try it again.
Yeah.
So I got up on the early class and I went to the class and he was there. I said, "Hey man, can you put me back in that position and teach me how to get out?"
Yeah.
Because I couldn't breathe. And then he was asking me, he happened to be a guy who was a nurse. And I told him, I said, "I think you may be claustrophobic." Now imagine finding out that way
I know. Suppose
when
you're
your
out
life is about.
there. Oh,
Yeah. So I mean, I'm glad that now I'm able to at least learn to turn my body to breathe and relax,
right.
measure my breath, and proper framing and proper positioning. Learning those concepts. I mean, I highly recommend to any
So
FMA
key,
guy
like
to try it.
framing, like it's so key where you're not getting flattened out. You know what I mean? Where you can.
Yeah.
I know that sucks, man. When you're flattened out and they're on your diaphragm, man, that is
Well,
awful.
I remember one guy when I started. Right, he was lighter than me. He's a black belt, and I like rolling with black belts because I like the way they moved, and I always watched them. I never did anything right against them when I started. Now I'm a little bit of survival, but back then I noticed where they grab me and we'll do a nogi. So this guy gets me on side control, and I notice he's tripoding. He's not doing the regular side control with her knees or whatever. He's doing like catch wrestling type pressure. And he's just sitting there, let me move, and I'm going crazy, spazzy white belt like I was. And all of a sudden now I know he notices I'm breathing hard because I didn't know how to breathe correctly. And I'm going, and when I would do, and when I let it out, he puts more pressure and more pressure and more pressure. And I'm going, what the hell?
Yeah, it's the worst. They start anaconda you. You're like,
Yes.
freaking,
It,
oh.
and I tapped and I said, yo, man, what did you do? And I said, well, I was measuring your breathing patterns and I was basically attacking your diaphragm.
Oh my
And I'm
god,
going, are you kidding me?
that's
I
like
need to
cruel,
learn
that's cruel
that.
and unusual. That's cruel and unusual punishment.
Yeah, but it was the best thing that happened to me because that's what led me to catch wrestling.
Yeah. Oh,
So I began to ask him. So, what do you get this out of? I mean, how do you learn this? It's called pressure. I mean, this is a game. Pressure is actually submission.
jeez, that's the worst. Though, like you said, like they're just squeezing the life out of you.
It's humbling, man. It's humbling as hell.
Yeah. No. 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 I mean, for sure. Like, it really is. Yeah.
So,
Like,
I got a question for the audience, and I want us to consider this in a discussion. I think it's important that we bounce things of one another.
sure.
So we do stand up and we do a lot of knife. We do a lot of the stick stuff, and we know how to flow. We do this. We cut the angles. Something happened. You fall on the ground. You're not training ground stuff. How to get up. How to do this. How to do whatever. And you never have any kind of roll for more than 2 or 3 minutes to feel the pressure, the stress, and that's why I always admire the Dog Brothers because they actually put it to the
They
test.
put it to test, man. You can't argue that, right?
Absolutely. I mean, trailblazers. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Um, So what happens if now, with all our years and all of our experience, and you don't have to be a world champion to learn basic fundamentals to reach for your weapon, to deploy one correctly. Just because you're on the bottom doesn't mean you're immediately going to run to a deployment. Sometimes it's too quick in the run position. You're going to get controlled, and then you're going to get submitted, or you're going to get killed. So I'm learning those things.
Yeah.
Timing. Do I deploy immediately? I follow the ground if I'm not in the proper position to respond to someone who knows what they're doing, and that's really what I'm trying to do.
Okay.
Not that I'm right in everything.
Right.
It's just
Right.
proposing ideas and trying to challenge the audience to think outside the box.
Fair enough. Yeah. I think that's great. And let's just see what folks let's see what they come back with.
That'd be kind of cool. Like for example, I watch a lot of the tactical. A lot of great tactical guys out there, and I highly respect them because I study and I trained with them for a while until I got my hips and I had to lay off a little bit. But then I noticed that when they put certain clips of some of the rolling, they're still
Mhm.
trying to do jujitsu in a weapons environment, and it's a little different. I submit to you that there's some variants that need to be considered because you cannot be rolling around as if you're going for competition trying to score points.
Yeah, yeah. No, no,
You
no,
know,
no. I remember.
Errol Ballesteros.
Yeah, good guy. New
Yeah,
Jersey.
he's a very well known person.
Yeah. Errol, you're well known.
So the
um,
whole idea, hopefully, I'm hoping that the BJJ fanatics will continue to have me on because the next
they
video
seem
that I
really
want to
open
do,
minded, man. Like they bring Burton stuff on. I mean, they seem
yeah.
very open minded.
But you got to remember, it's a business too. It's based
Yeah,
on sales.
sure, sure.
So I mean, if people, it's a brand new thing. It's not a brand new thing. It's an approach within that website,
Yeah.
other than Burton, the Master Burton. So it's going to take a little traction because normally the BJJ guys are not looking for weapons unless somebody get beat up, you know.
But I think with you, Burton, now you, I mean,
And
somebody else.
there's a lot more people that could do it. I mean, that's the whole like.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We're just trying to open the doors for many more quality and maybe more talented people than we are. I
Yes.
have a window, man. I'm going to be 60 next year. I understand that my window is limited for development and movement, and eventually I'll slow down. If we can share some of the stuff and continue the beautiful expression of FMA that we've learned
Mm.
and apply it into other arts and bring that richness of knowledge into this art, that they will be able to appreciate it instead of saying, we weapons guys, you guys on the
Yeah,
ground,
yeah,
this
yeah,
not good.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, there's value in everything. We have to find how it works.
That's why I like. That's why I like the combat communities
Yeah.
because they're not loyal to anything. They're scientists. They just want what is going to help safe and get home safe. Right? They don't care where it comes from. They don't. They don't have this loyalty and all that. That's why I like those communities.
Yeah, me too.
I run FMA discussion.
Yeah.
I'm really. I find they're just refreshing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
There's no nonsense. Like, I don't know if you've seen Krav Maga in Israel. It's different than America.
I hear it's very different.
It's completely different. I
Yeah,
mean, that's why I learned the stuff I know. It's over there because I've been going there for 20 years,
I
and a
hear
lot
you.
of a lot of the guys were my students in knife. You know,
Yeah.
so it's like I got to learn from Israel. In Israel, the Krav Maga is more like an anti-terrorist type curriculum. It's not just self-defense. Only one aspect of it.
No,
You
I
know.
hear. No, Burden does like the stuff Burden does is like really good, but I've seen some really poor crop. But there's got to be some good out there for
Well,
sure.
there's got to be good. Again, it's the same mindset. Well, we do. For example, I remember doing a seminar, one of the particular units,
Hmm.
and there were young kids getting ready to go through you, and they were very aggressive. They all got injured, by the way, and I think that what they do is amazing for. And by the way, one of the guys told me the reason. One of the guys who was a high officer told me the reason why they teach it that way. They go, Krav Maga in Israel for the soldiers is designed to run through people within 30 seconds.
Hmm.
That's really what it's designed to be the aggressor in
Right.
an environment in which you cannot let these people get the best of you
Right.
because it's always in danger. So you have to deploy your weapon faster. You have to attack faster. You cannot wait to fight because it's a different environment of warfare there than anything. The rules of engagements are very different.
Then it came to the states, money and
Well, it's like anything. They make it into a
business.
business, which I think is okay.
Yeah.
But when you take special units to train some of the people in Mexico, for example, in South America, they never invite those special forces guys from Israel because to them, the rules of engagement are different. Therefore, when they come over here, it's game on. They don't really care about certain things.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
so
it's a
there's like
layman.
that.
You're going from military now. Your audience is layman.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. And that's always a challenge.
And then
And
when you
by
go
the way,
to layman, that's when it starts to not look. You know what I mean? It starts. You know what I mean? Generally speaking, not always. Not always.
well, do you think that's exactly what happened with now with sport jiu-jitsu now? I mean, uh,
FMA, sport jiu-jitsu.
it's very different.
Yeah.
Very different.
I
By the
mean,
way,
I see the stuff that comes in every day. I get an average of 30 to 40 posts that are waiting to be approved in that very discussion. And some of it that these guys think they're going to pull off in real time, real speed, real versity.
yeah, it's true.
But because it's aesthetically pleasing, it's the art. Now, if they're saying it's the art, hey, man, that's great. You're
But
being honest. But when you go to say like it's functional, that's, yeah.
but don't you think also it's true on our side? They see us do a drill,
Yep.
and then we do the drill nicely. We do the stuff, and then all of a sudden now the people make it sound like, oh, this is the fight. No, that's the training tool to
I
learn
think
how
it's
to do certain
context.
things.
I know where you're going because I see it coming every day. I think, did you establish context? If
Right.
you just put it in there and you put no context, man, you're going to leave it open to interpretation because you didn't put anything in there.
It's
That's
true.
one thing. Like when I post, man, you better like have solid context. So now you're not going to be privy to the avalanche.
It's true. I think we have to represent too.
You know?
And there's some really solid guys out there that I watch. I
Oh,
enjoy
absolutely,
watching them. You know.
100. Yeah, there's
By the way,
absolutely.
Mr. Terrell there, Danny Terrell says Greg Nelson, Eric Paulson, Alan Baker, Alan Chambers. He is like he's mentioning some serious grapplers there,
Greg,
and it's true. They
Greg,
all do weapons
Greg
based,
Nelson and Greg Nelson and Eric Paulson, man.
which I'm
Right?
surprised they haven't done anything for BJJ fanatics. If you ask me,
Neither of them have.
no, I'm talking about weapons based.
They have, just not weapons. Right, right, right.
No, they do the grappling and the catch. I mean,
I'm
they're
surprised
amazing
Craig
at it.
Nelson. I know for a fact Craig Nelson works a lot with Todd Fossey. I know those two are doing a lot, particularly in the gun. I don't.
Man,
I
Greg
got.
Nelson is legit. That guy is
Oh no, no,
amazing.
no. But he's also. I mean, and Todd Fossey out there is. So I would have to say those two got to be coming up with something soon. You know.
I hope so. Can you imagine if all of a sudden now Master Eric Paulson and Greg Nelson they do videos on weapons based training and
Yeah.
stick and stuff? I mean, that only going to help what I'm doing. I mean, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I mean. Yeah. Rising tide, rising ships. I mean, right. I mean, so
I
yeah.
mean, I don't care how it
Definitely.
happens
Yeah.
as long as
I
if
think it
somebody
happens
with
like
that name.
you did. Burton did something. You're doing something. I think it could trigger other people to do stuff. Yeah,
Well, I mean, that's what I'm hoping. I mean,
I
to
think.
be remembered someday as one of those guys who actually got blessed enough. By the
Yeah.
way, that was my goal back in when I started. When I was 50, I started doing BJJ. Okay. And I started doing catch wrestling.
Mm.
And I remember, and I'm 59 now. So I remember that my long term goal was I see that within the grappling BJJ world, there is a hole within the weapons based approach. I don't have any, you know, and because of the way that it's trained for sport, a sport person can go on the street and they get into an altercation with someone who may pull out a weapon or something, they may not be able to handle that stress because
Mm.
it's a different game altogether. They handle the stress of competition, rolling, but
Especially.
not the stress of somebody trying to hit you over the head with something.
Yeah. No. 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 I don't disagree. Yeah. I
So,
think. Yeah.
so my goal was, man, I'm going to train as hard as I can, put something together that hopefully I can present to BJJ fanatics. That was my goal. Now, 2023, I had my hip surgery, my right hip surgery, and I didn't see my Instagram. So it wasn't until last December that there's a guy who I've been following on Instagram. He's a wrestler, and I love what he does. And I bought his videos and stuff, basic things. And he won a tournament, and then he put the Puerto Rican flag, and I thought he was Puerto Rican, but I didn't know. So I reached out to the guy on Instagram. Hey man, I'm glad that you won. I'm Puerto Rican and you're Puerto Rican and you won. That's great. Whatever. He lives in Puerto Rico, but he is actually not Puerto Rican. He went to Penn State, American living in Puerto Rico, who happened to be the manager for BJJ Fanatics.
Ah. Okay.
I have
Okay.
no idea. Dan Villamont. And his videos are amazing, so I highly recommend you buy them. And he also does jujitsu. And now, high level Division One wrestler, by the way, incredible. And when I go to send the message to him, I scroll up. He wrote me like in 2023. that they were inviting me to do something on BJJ Fanatics, but I never saw it.
Oh my
So I'm
gosh.
freaking out. I'm going like, I hope the offer is still on. He goes, yes. And then I told him, I got to meet him. I told him the goal was, he goes, well, let's try it. And then for what I understand that he told me that it was the owner of the company who actually requested it, saw it and was kind of interested and gave me the opportunity. So I'm forever grateful. So if the audience, the FMA world supports this project, not only would BJJ Fanatics will be able to continue to bring others to do it, which
Mm.
can open the whole floodgates of exchanging information. There are a lot of good grapplers who do Brazilian, Filipino martial arts, but they don't blend it.
You know, Mark Denny, man, like there's another name. Like what he's
Yeah,
probably, I mean, like he,
pioneer.
yeah, I mean, like there's stuff like with the fusion of Eric House, like what he gave to him and all, and then yeah, I think it'll happen. I just think needs a couple people to do it, and that people start to notice, and they get, you know, they get they see that, they see what other folks are doing, and they get kind of like maybe like a reincarnation in their journey to do it. They get inspired. You know what I mean? So yeah,
But people need to remember that when we do this stuff in the weapons-based grappling, we're not looking to do things so complex.
yeah, no, 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 no,
They
no.
may appear to be like
Yeah,
easy, or to us,
right, right.
it's principles, but to them, it's like, well, we never thought about that. Even the gripping, instead of grabbing over here like they do in the gripping, I always grab over here to limit the motion in the wrist,
The
and I
drumstick.
practice that.
Yeah,
You know that.
yeah, the drums. Yeah, the drum. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I told yeah, like I did bird and stick grappling, which is really good. I mean, it was some really good stuff. But yeah, you could. Who knows? You know, like people will get your thing, and then they might get inspired and to contribute as well. You know what I mean?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm hoping that if this bridge is built and people start crossing it,
Yeah,
and instead of finding a fault with this side and that side, which is easy to do, I can sit right here right now and tell you all the stuff I don't like about Brazilian Jiu Jitsu.
I can
And
tell
there's
you,
a
I
lot.
can tell you all stuff I don't like about FMA, but what good is it
Right.
good too? Right?
And there's a lot I don't like about Brazilian Jiu Jitsu.
Yeah, yeah, right.
But I like the community and I like the mindset of training. I don't like their methodology in certain circles.
Sure, sure.
To be honest with you, in my opinion, in some circles, they slow your progress down by their methodology they're using. As you know, in a weapons-based environment, in the
Mm,
FMA, you can see a great level of development quickly
yeah,
because
yeah,
of the
yeah, yeah.
methodology that has been used that has always been life survival. You have to learn how to flow and sensitivity.
I totally. Yeah, like I think. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, and I'm not. This is not coming from me. I'm just telling you what's been shared to me. But you get the core stuff, blue belt, purple, right? You know what I mean. So then goes and goes. But much to your point, like you're training in weapons, man. You don't have time to like
Right.
go over all this. Like,
It's true.
you know what I mean.
It's true.
So yeah, I definitely
So
approach. Definitely agree with you on what could be, I guess, a more streamlined approach, right? You know what I mean?
yeah, I think the FMA world has all the masters in the past who developed all those amazing drills, and now there's a recycling of many of them under new environment. There's a demographics, the type of bodies, different locations around the world that you train, different approach. Even sometimes the laws of the country that you live in influence the way you teach.
Right, legality. I mean, damn well. Like, what weapons can they or even can be used
Right.
legally? Like, in other words, when you look at legally defensible, sometimes you got to start with something that's actually legally defensible, right?
That's true.
So
I,
yeah, I
I,
don't know.
and I got to tell you, I'm grateful for whoever taught me because I was taught something really interesting in the beginning of my journey. How that everything that I learn and everything that I teach, I should be able to do it with certain variants with every weapon.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't have time to learn how to do karambit work and then learn something else with a straight blade and learn something else with a stick. I mean, everything should blend and gel together. And I think sometimes we are compartmentalizing everything to the point that we are diluting the systems.
I think that's fair.
You
Yeah,
know, and in the jiu-jitsu, they do that too. They don't teach you
I think what happens
certain.
in sport, I think what it with sport is more belts. They have to have curriculum each belt.
Yeah,
Now it gets stretched out. You know what I mean? But versus combatives, less is more. You
right.
know what I mean? So I think that's the two worlds. You know what I mean?
So how do we bridge it? That's really what we're
Yeah,
trying to do.
it's going to take. Yeah, I think it's in this has come up before in previous podcasts. Like, how do you bridge the two mindsets and the two cultures? And I think what you need to do is you need to get just people doing it, but those people doing it have to make themselves public so other people see it. Like, there's nobody telling me people are not doing it, but they might not be of notoriety. They might not be putting it out there.
Right.
So I think, so I think
Well,
it's a lot of
well,
that.
can I submit to you some ways that we can start integrating some of this stuff? For example, Paulo Soot. That's something that integrated perfectly that biting concept with a Paulo Soot onto an underhook or to a cut
Mm,
with a knife or to a lock with a stick. I mean, there's also a lot of the control mechanism that we do with the stick switches. I learned my switches in one system over here from the puño to the puño. But then when I got together with Professor, with Grandmaster Felix, he's doing all the switches from the end of the stick to the end of the stick. That opened my whole world because now I can play the long game, medium game, and short range,
mm,
and now the grappling range.
right.
So what I did in the video was let's talk about pain, rubbing induced pain from catch wrestling, cross faces, not here, but around across the face to limit mobility and always twisting the skeletal structure.
Right. Right.
And the next thing was how can I be in positions in which I can switch the stick at any time in any throw so that I'm not losing my weapon as I'm doing a roll, a back roll, or I'm moving from side control to north south, or if I'm doing the pummel. I mean, can I do the pummel and go into a single leg,
Mm,
without showing the stick in front of me? I mean, simple things that we do can be integrated and let these guys just play with it and develop their own flow with what they already know. What we've been doing all this time
yeah.
is battle tested. Now they have an environment under stress every time. It's a stressful thing to roll on the ground every time you go. It's perfect blend.
Yeah. And you're also addressing the gradual increments of stress inoculation. I mean, like, because that's a big thing, man.
Yeah,
Information, like knowledge is power. I believe it's applied knowledge, but people leave out like that stress inoculation, that building of it, and gradually building and enhancing of it. Like you said, man, the guy who trains sport now he's out there, and this thug is street thug who's street savvy and maybe he's got some decent hands and's been in
right.
God knows how many fights, man. You know what I mean? That's gonna be a different stress
Yeah,
inoculation, right?
it will be.
Yeah,
And
at
that's
100,
yeah,
100.
that's really what, man. I'm hoping that if we can find a way to be a bridge on both sides.
Yeah, I think
I
it
will.
can happen. I just think it's going to take time, and I think it's
Yeah, it
going
takes
to
time.
take.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, if we have guys who are a bigger name than me, because I'm not really that big of a name in this realm, in what I do for work, I'm known. But in this thing, I've been out. This is what I did because I was so out of shape due to my hips. I remember I stepped away from doing seminars. I used to do it all over the world, and I stepped away because I was not able to represent
mm,
myself or the system with the way that I could have or should have because of my weight, and I was not in shape. And I thought if somebody comes into one of those seminars and challenges me, I'm not going to be able to do. And that's when YouTube thing was started going. Everyone's recording anything. All it takes is one video, and then you're shot.
oh, I know. Everybody, that's a lot of guys. No videos.
Yeah. So therefore, I said, you know what? I'm not ready, and I'm honest.
Yeah,
Again, I was a professional baseball player, so you practice to perform,
right.
right? If you're not ready, you got to go train. Well, I knew that at that time I didn't have the skills because of my lack of mobility. My back, as you know, if you have hip replacements, you have sciatica and you have problems with your mobility and your back. So I stopped. I trained on my own. I
Mm,
lost 60 pounds and I began to train again. And then when I got my hips operated, I said, okay, what can I do to make sure that I can survive in a stressful situation? In this case, on the bottom.
yeah.
And, I think that understanding our weaknesses, our limitations in age, mobility, and working with our skills and our attributes instead of trying to imitate things that we cannot possibly do. And I think maybe that's the frustration with the FMA guys, that they'll get into a grappling environment and the teacher is going to put them in a position that they're not going to use in a fighting environment
Mm.
and that they cannot do because they don't care about sport. And that's a frustrating factor that I deal with.
Yeah. No, no, no. I think it's everything you're mentioning. I think there's ego, the reluctancy to fail, the reluctancy to be exposed to new stuff. Going back to your student body and saying, "Hey, look, guys, we're going to do stuff differently now because I was literally exposed." I think it's everything. You know what I mean? And I think it's conversations like this that need to be more frequent, and not just with guys like us, but the upper echelon, right? You know.
Yeah, man. Listen,
So
let me tell you a quick story. I don't know how much time you're giving me, but
yeah,
um,
we got a few more. We got yeah, I got no, we got a few more minutes. Go ahead.
cool. Story that happened to me about a month ago. I went to Israel because I take tours to Israel to do tourism. And I was there before the war. And I took about a month off. I was doing all the type of training on my own, but not grappling because my back was hurting a little bit. It was muscular, but I needed some rest because I was rolling too much. And going to competition class at my age is actually suicide, but I was doing it. You know what I mean. Those guys go like 10-minute rounds. I go, what in the world am
Oh
I
my
doing?
god,
Why am I doing 10-minute rounds? It's crazy. I don't need to do that.
that's insane.
So I left for a month and I come back. I go to class and I told the teacher, hey, man, I haven't been around for a month. He goes, ah, don't worry. Just do your usual thing. Use pressure. So I'm rolling with this kid. He's 17 years old, very talented. He trains twice a day. He actually homeschools so he can train every day. And he's
Mm.
working at the school
Ah,
because he's helping teach.
right, right, right.
And I left, and when I left, I was handling this kid quite well. I come back and I'm doing pretty good, but I'm noticing he's moving a little faster than usual.
Yeah,
And then he went for my straight ankle lock, and normally he would always go and I do the boot and the typical counter and whatever, and I get away with it because I know he doesn't know as much. So I thought. So I left my leg hanging, man. That's what happens with complacency.
yeah.
You see, you anchor your body to respond on your last experience. And I left for 1 month, and this kid submitted me on a straight ankle like I was not expecting because I thought that he didn't know how to apply it. That's
Right.
what I get for thinking. So when he got me, I tapped and I go, man, great job, dude. I mean, what did you learn that? You've never done that before. He goes, dude, I've been working on this the last 3 weeks. I did a competition and I got everybody submitted with it. I won. I said, congratulations. Awesome.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I come home and I'm going like, okay, what am I going to do? This kid just added something I'm not counting on.
yeah.
So I went to, the catch wrestling, counters for that. And, I look at some of the stuff that I have and I went back the next day and he showed up. I said, man, I'm so glad you're here, man. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you the leg when we roll, not all the time, but I want you to attack it the way you're doing. Okay, because I need to learn how to counter you. You're faster and you controlling it quicker than normal.
Mhm.
So we're rolling, and he went for the leg, and he got it, and I was able to try to counter. I failed the first attempt, but I did the second part. And after that day, I'm never giving him the leg anymore because he knows how to do it. So he looked at me. He goes, "Man, what did you do?" I said, "Well, you made me better. You made me better." Now, again, I'm 59 years old. This kid is 17. I should not be saying that to him, but he
Yeah,
made me better
right. Anybody gets.
because he was able to do something he learned and apply it at a very good level. And my complacency and my ability to recall what I thought I did to him a month earlier got me in trouble. Ever since that day, he hasn't got me on that particular technique anymore.
But see, it goes back to the whole thing. You accept, like you're accepting of being a student. You're accepting of learning curves through failures,
Yeah.
gradual success through failures. Like I'm like that too. Like I don't care, man, if it was 10 years old. If I learned something from that 10-year-old, I'm better off than before I came. Not everybody just has that mindset, unfortunately. They just don't. And I've seen it, man. Going on 6 years now doing FMA discussion. And it's like
But,
not
but
everybody has.
it's not easy for us
Yeah,
because
you
you've
know,
been training for over 30 years.
you know.
and I've been training for over 30 years,
Right.
and we have experience, and people know us in our areas over here.
Yeah.
But I realize if I want to accomplish one thing, just to give my best, not to please anybody, just to give my best
Mm.
and earn respect. Right now, I feel like I suck right now, and I'm a brown belt, and sometimes I feel like I'm a white belt and a blue belt and a purple.
Mm.
But then they asked me something about a knife, and then whatever I couldn't do, now I'm able to do it because I'm in my world.
Right. 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 Right.
So when my professor when we were talking, he said he lives in Puerto Rico now, and my jiu-jitsu professor, and I told him, I said, at least when I get to black belt, even if I'm not going to be at the age of a young guy, but the fact that I was able to bridge the gap from different arts,
Mm.
not dilute the jiu-jitsu, but maintain its purity, but enhance it with FMA attributes with it,
Right.
then no one's going to be able to question the knowledge based. Maybe the physical attributes are not there, but the knowledge base to be able to perform and will be there.
Yeah.
And that's really what we need to focus on.
No
Oh,
argument.
somebody say it was a good interview. Thank you. That's a great compliment.
Yeah. Yeah. And Errol's seen his fair share on here. Yeah. Ego
Yeah, I
embarrassment.
like that. He says ego, 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 embarrassment, or
Embarrassment failure.
failure, losing an
Absolutely.
account. Yeah.
Absolutely. Right. God forbid that you get exposed. Right.
Man, I've been exposed.
Oh my God.
It
What
doesn't
it
feel
is?
very good.
If you get in the trenches with your students, not only they appreciate you more for it, but if you do fail and they say, man, that's my teacher and he's still going out there and he's still failing and he doesn't care, I think there's an appreciation for that. I really do.
Well, you want to know how I gain my son's respect? I have two boys. One is 35, the other one's 28. And my oldest is from my previous marriage. And I was a professional baseball player, and then I was a baseball scout for 10 years for the White Sox. So I was in the whole athletic world my whole time, my whole world. And but because of my mistakes in the past, my ex-wife moved to California. My son went with her. So they moved back to Florida. So I began to always maintain that relationship with my son. But when he was 20 years old, he moved in with us, my wife and I now. And I actually started training, and this is something that I did. It's a personal kind of testimony. Uh, I was really overweight. I lost 60 pounds. I told my wife, I'm tired of being overweight. This is not me. So I lost the weight and I started training. My son was also very heavy at the time. And my whole motivation was to be an example to my kids.
Mm.
So I will travel everywhere in the world. And I've been over 38 countries now for my work. But anywhere that I would travel to, I'll be home. If I got home, I'll be home on a Sunday or Monday, no later. Because on Tuesday and Thursdays, when my son was living with me, we have a 6 o'clock class for the MMA class. It was 2013. Okay. So my biggest joy was waking up at 5 so my son can come with me. And what happened, remember the story I was telling you about doing the pummeling and the teacher
Yeah, yeah,
basically.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Well, when I took my son a month later, let me retrace my steps.
yeah.
When I took my son a month later, the teacher did the same thing, but he let me do the pummeling on my boy.
Okay.
And then afterwards, my son goes, "I'm embarrassed, Dad. Um, my dad kicked my butt, and there's no way my father would be in better shape than me and do this to me." So anyway, so a year and a half goes by. We're training maybe twice, 3 times a week. And now my son lost 70 pounds,
Oh,
started
there you
fighting.
go.
He was going to fight. He got really good, so talented, that kid. He's much better than me.
Yeah.
And so one morning I went to class and I got beat up. I sparred with a state amateur champion, and I sparred with another guy who was in one of the big MMA professional leagues. I should not be there. I was just in the class. They let me spar with these guys, and I got beat up. And I felt like, oh my God, my son is with me. So we're driving home. And I said to him, son, man, I don't know, bro. I'm too old for this stuff. I mean, how do you feel knowing your old man is getting his butt beat up all the time? He goes, well, Dad, this is the reason why I admire you, because you are a high level in all the things and you're willing to learn over here and get beat up.
See?
And I got to be honest with you, that was the highlight of my life. to earn my son's respect.
Right.
That's what matters. You know,
Yeah.
anybody else is just a commentary.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I think that's beautiful. I'm totally with you, man. Like, I think the students. I mean, those close to you,
Right.
students, family. I mean, I think when they see you that you not only walk a life of humility, but put yourself in the trenches with them and all that. I just think that's a whole different dynamic
Yeah.
than the sideline guy and or the one who doesn't really get in the mix anymore. And really, it's like unless you are just God forbid something really happened to you that just isn't possible. But a lot of times, a lot of these guys I see, it's I got to be honest with you, it's laziness.
Yeah.
They didn't take care of themselves. They're not proactive. And I'm sorry, I'm just going to call for what it is. I mean, it's like, I mean, come on now. You know what I mean? There's stuff you can do,
It's
right?
true.
you know?
It is true. I mean, it
Um,
is very true. And right now, to be honest with you, one of the things that I do at the class, there was one guy who wants to compete, right? He's very good.
yeah,
He wants to be heavy set guy. He lost like 100 pounds and he wants to be a world champion, but he doesn't have the work ethic. So it's like the joke at the BJJ gym was every time I'm in the class, I'm the last guy on the mat because he always gets up early.
yeah,
So the whole idea was to say, hey, man, I'm the last guy on the mat. And I wanted him to realize that, dude, if you want to earn something, remember, I was a professional athlete. So if you want to be good at something, you got to put in the time. You
no,
can't
you
just finish
have
and
to.
go home. It
Yeah.
takes
Some people,
dedication. So,
that's it. Some people, yeah. So, well, this
well,
is awesome, man. I got it. I think it's but I'm glad we were able to. I know we were kind of going back and forth there. That was my fault, just stuff going on. But
I hope I wasn't harassing you too much.
no, no. Oh my God, no. In the future, no. I don't mind people. No, not at all. I just felt bad that because I remember you messaged me, then I forgot, and then
Yeah.
so glad you tagged me on that post and there. So I'm just glad we made it happen. So
Yeah, man, I want to thank you for the opportunity, and I hope that I'm on Instagram, by the way. And I recommend you guys in the FMA world. I've been out of the loop for a while because I've been focusing on my life, and I train. I got my own gym in my house, so I train all the time. I have students that are locally here. I can't teach consistently every week because I travel a lot. So it's not fair
yeah,
to charge somebody a monthly if I'm not around. Uh, but hopefully, you guys go to my Instagram. It's Tuhon Tuhon underscore Rico Cortes on Instagram and hit a like, follow me there. Hopefully you'll like it. Make any suggestions. I'm learning. I'm willing to share, but I'm trying to bridge that gap. Remember, we're bridging a gap. But if I do something with Kali, I want a Kali person to say, hey, he knows Kali.
mm.
And if a BJJ or a catch wrestler sees me do something in their realm, that they'll say, well, you know,
Alrighty then. I swear to God, that wasn't me. I'm not sure what happened there. Um, see if he comes back. Uh, that was bizarre. Let me message him. I don't want him thinking that I removed him. Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Let me see here. Uh, ah, he's back. Here we go. Yeah, I didn't want you to think like I boot you or something. um, I did cut him off. I just wanted to know if you guys really saw it or not. Okay, he's back. Let's see. Okay, let's see what's going on here. I swear to God, guys, I'm not doing it. Are we good?
can you hear
Okay.
me?
Oh yeah, we're good to go. Yeah, I'm not. I have no idea what happened.
Give me 1 second. I'm trying to. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So hold on. I'm trying to. I don't know what I did here. I got two streams. That's what it is. Oh, I know. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I think it's me over here. Yeah, it is me over here.
Yeah, it's that. Yeah, something.
Let me leave this one. If I mess up, I'll come back. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Good to go. Yep.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just okay. So as I was saying before you let me go,
Yeah.
that before
They're
I'm just
blaming
playing.
me.
It was me. It was me. It was me. Um, what I'm hoping is that, and I want to thank you for the opportunity, man. I mean, the whole idea is
Sure.
to make a difference. I want to be able to, at least in the next 10 years, my long-term goals and short-term goals is I want to achieve my black belt. It may take me another 4 years, no big deal. I'm in no rush, and I want to obtain a higher rank in catch wrestling. There's two systems that I'm learning. It's luta libre from one of my teachers, and also from John Potenza. And what I want to do is be known as somebody who's trying to bridge.
Mm,
For this particular here, we don't need to convince the FMA guy that the weapons are there. We know that. If I
right.
could just convince them to try basics over here, fundamentals of grappling and basics fundamentals of weapons based on the grappling side. And right now we have the great opportunity through BJJ Fanatics, the biggest platform
For
of that in the
BJJ.
whole world. But I need you guys' support by promoting the link, letting others know, maybe buy it, and whatever you think can help you, then use it in the most practical sense, and and promote it. If I get some of the sales that are needed, then they'll able to ask me to do more, and by that time, I'm hoping that some of you get excited and consider doing the same with all the knowledge that you have, and let's make this a niche within the grappling community. It
There we
could be a niche like tactical, you know, the tactical world is a niche,
Sure.
self defense and grappling. But FMA and grappling, is there really a niche? The only people doing it is a girl, Santo, who did it with Shuto and then all the stuff. Eric Paulson, amazing master. He knows it, but he's focusing his life into jujitsu and the catch wrestling with his school. But can we imagine if we get all these guys putting
Yeah.
the knowledge in the pot, how much exposure will give us if they go along with it? You
Yeah. For
know,
sure. For sure. How far are you from Orlando?
30 minutes.
I might be going to Orlando to do a seminar late February.
Well, let me know, man. If I'm in the area, I would love to. I don't do anything on Saturdays, but if you're here anytime
Actually,
before,
I think it would be on a Saturday.
oh man. But call me, and I'd love to see you and go from there.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
hoping that the community in Florida, because there's a quite big one, uh, will give me the opportunity to exchange some of the stuff. I haven't been around. I mean, I do Sabbath. I'm a religious, so I
Yep.
do Sabbath. So normally seminars happen on Saturday, but I'm welcome on a Sunday or whatever, and I want to support other seminars they do. But I'm hoping that local groups will allow for the opportunity for this to be at least presented. See how they like it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll be in touch with you if I think it's going to happen. The interest, just matter of fact, one of them's right here, Chris too. And
Oh
we're gonna
yeah,
have a few
Master Shu.
guys. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'll definitely be in touch for sure. I will. Yeah,
How many people are watching now? Do you know?
there are 12.
Cool. We
Yeah,
have consider the link. The link is on the page on your page. The link for the BJJ Fanatics.
I put it on there. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that'll be good. And if you guys
yeah.
can share it, that'll be amazing. I think,
Oh, thank you, James, for sure.
yeah, to be honest with you, this could really take off into something that, if we can get the knowledge base on some of the masters, okay, and say, okay, let's study this side over here. What can they use that we can provide in that environment of weapons?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Okay, I
Yeah,
mean,
no,
look,
no.
we can find negative on both sides, but that's besides the
It's just
point.
going to take like-minded folks. If you get enough like-minded folks who are not just concerned with they're not territorial and this, that, the other thing, and ego free. It can happen, but it's going to take like minded folks. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's
Nelson
just the way
Pinto
it is.
right there. That guy is very talented. Nelson
Who's
Pinto.
that?
Nelson Pinto.
Oh yeah, no, oh yeah, I know Nelson. Yeah, oh yeah, yeah,
Amazing
yeah,
guy. He's
yeah,
a friend of mine. He came down from I
yeah.
think
Good time.
Leesburg. He's in North Florida.
Yeah,
And he's a very talented guy. If you guys are in Florida, look him up, man. I'm telling you.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
a good
He's
dude.
fireplace.
Quality human being.
Yeah, 100. But awesome. I appreciate you coming on. But yeah, stay in touch. I'll be in touch with you regarding yeah. So
I look forward to it. Anytime in the future that you think you can have me, please let me know. I would love
no,
to
no, no,
hang
no.
out
You
and talk.
if you come on more stuff, just hit me up and I'll make it happen. Yeah.
You got it. Have a great night. Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate you guys very much.
Anytime. You take care.
Bye bye.
Bye. All right, that wraps up 517. Who is next? Pending what platform? Gang Jackie Bradbury. She requested to come on. So I'm going to do that. That'll be FMA. Far as Marshall Mev, Renee's just kind of healing from, got in an accident. So I'm just waiting for him to heal. Hence my FMA discussion tonight. But at any rate, Steve Brody coming back on. Darcy, getting Darcy on. And then Lexi Kuspis, John Kuspis' daughter in there. And yeah, so definitely something will be occurring next week. Just not sure what. But as always, you will see it posted in FMA discussion on the featured section. Okay. All right. Thanks for all those who jumped in to watch, and I will see you guys next time.